This year in Humanities, we read 4 books, each of them having a theme that connected to a type of inequality. The first book we read was called Ties That Bind, Ties That Break. It was about the torturous Chinese practice of foot binding, meant only for girls. This book connects to the theme of gender inequality. Throughout the year, we learned about various ways women were treated unequally in history. 2 big subjects we covered were arranged marriage and foot binding in China in the early 1900s and unfair working rights for women in the late 1800s and early 1900s. Something that compelled me to research the topic of gender inequality was that in class we mostly studied how gender inequality was a long time ago, and I wanted to know what the situation was today. So I started to do some research, and I found out that there was an aspect of this inequality that was especially interesting to me, the gender pay gap. I looked into it, and I came up with a specific question I wanted to research and answer in the form of this video. The question is the gender pay gap the same for all women? The simple answer to this question is no. Allow me to explain. Before I start, here are 4 things that affect a woman's pay gap: ethnicity, age, education, and relationship status. So let's start with ethnicity. Although white women are paid more than most other ethnicities, they also suffer from the largest pay gap, earning about 76% of what white men do. Asian women have the second largest pay gap and are paid more on average than white men or women. Surprisingly, Hispanic, African American, and Native women have the smallest pay gaps, being paid around 80 to 90% of what men are, despite being paid much less on average. Next, education. Education level does affect the size of the pay gap, but not always in the ways that you'd expect. Research shows that women that earn higher level diplomas do get jobs that pay more, but the pay gap is larger than it is for women that earn lower level degrees. Number 3, age. When women first start to have jobs, their payment is almost equal to men's, but when they get to their 30s, the gap opens and does not stop growing. So what changes? That brings us to the last item on the list, relationship status. By that I mean whether a woman is married or not. The reason that the pay gap opens at that time is that that's the time in which women usually get married and have kids. Many women leave their jobs to do the chores at home, while the women that stay at work are paid less because of the belief that they don't work as hard than they did without kids. To me, this is incredibly unfair. So what can we do about it? Women and men from all over the globe have come together and formed organizations such as the American Association of University Women and the Workplace Gender Inequality Agency. These organizations help to empower women and fight for their rights. But what if you don't want to join a fancy organization? What can you do? Something that an individual can do is to stop buying products from companies that you know pay women less, because it lets people know that you don't agree. Social media is also a great way to let people know about your cause. People are already protesting against these inequalities, and you can too.